Hey, everybody out there. And that might have came out a little hot. Um, it's Captain Kyle. Welcome to the live stream. Haven't done one of these in a while. I'm hoping to do more of them. This is like a Transformers Tuesday thing. I'm thinking about doing some third-party Thursdays. And I am joined today by a special guest, Magnus. He is an old friend. We've acted in things together. I've known him. He goes to RetroCon regularly, which is basically my favorite con. And he's into G.I. Joe. And I just discovered how much he's into Transformers. And I'm like, we need to do something. So, Magnus, say hi to everybody.
Hey, everybody. How's it going?
Tell us about your Transformers journey. What got you into Transformers?
Oh, boy. Well, let's see here. Way back when, in 1984, when this little comic came out, I saw it upon the old spinning rack. And kind of ever since then, it's been spiraling, especially in September when that lovely TV show came on. After that, kind of cascaded from there. I've been going strong ever since. Started with a little wind charger transformer, and now I have a lot.
I know that feeling. Yeah, I started out, I saw the cartoon first. I was not
Okay.
aware of the comic. And then when I went to the comic store, I'm like, there's a comic? And I had to go back and get all of them. So I have one
Oh, yeah.
through 80, 1 through 80 in a 4-issue limited series of the original run. And of course, I love the cartoon. My first one was Beachcomber.
Okay.
So I started collecting a little later. So some of the Wave 1 stuff I did not get. It was a little harder to find.
Oh, yeah.
And it took me a while to get Megatron. I got him through the mail away, and now I don't have a G1 Megatron. Yeah, there was a purge.
They hurt a lot, but sometimes they're necessary.
Very true. So we've got some people in the chat, and yeah, we are going to be talking about favorite repaints. If you've watched my videos, I'm always saying how I love repaints because there are millions of Transformers on Cybertron, and some of them got to be repaints. I mean, you can't have millions of unique designs, that are that unique. And it makes sense because they're robots, and, I kind of see it as Primus started the spark of life, and then the Quintessons came along and they took over, and then they set up assembly lines. And so assembly lines, you're going to have the same body type. May have
Yep.
different personalities, but
Well, you can even think about it biologically. Even humans, you see those people who look just like each other. They
yeah.
can, they've never met, they're not related, but they look exactly the same. So, same thing.
Yeah, and I've ran into some doppelgangers. One of them is David Morrissey, but that's a whole different thing. That's when I'm being the governor, but that's a whole different fandom. But yeah, I could see I had the original G1 Combaticons. I had the G2. I didn't
Yep.
ever have Battle Gaia, which I wanted so bad. But then I had Baldigus and Ruination, because the American and the Japanese versions were a bit different in coloration, slightly, and then there were the two different Walmart repaints of that set. And I'm
Yep.
like, this totally makes sense, because you have an assembly line kicking off the Swindle mold, you have an assembly line, and then you have teams that you send out, and they could invade a planet all inside the blast off or move or whatever you want to call them, and they're
Yep.
all landing at different places and attacking. And by the way, sometimes cats will jump into here. This is Sky, and she loves coming into my videos. So she hasn't been in
Nothing
a
wrong with
review
that.
in a while. But what are your thoughts on repaints before we get into some of our favorites?
I think they have their place. I enjoy them a lot. If you take in consideration that the entire G1 first wave is nothing more than Diaclone repaints,
Mm-hmm.
then you kind of it's like, okay, you know what? You have all the Seeker mold, the Seekers, who are basically, your Star Trek Scream mold that has, Thundercracker, Skywarp. Uh, you get your Ironhide and Ratchet are basically repaints.
Yep.
Uh, so, it's baked
Sideswipe,
into
Red
the
Alert.
DNA of the Transformers itself. Um, and there's a lot you can do because, you might say, "Oh, that's a really cool mold. I really like that robot mode, but that would look so much better in black and purple, or red and gray." And all of a sudden, now it's a whole new character.
Yeah.
Uh, I mean, there's a whole big repaint community out there that who customize and take the standard mold Transformers and paint them themselves because they want to do original characters, or they see that uh, vision of, hey, you know what? Sunstreaker would look great in a red and purple motif.
Yep. Yeah, that's. I meant to grab it, and I may run away for just a moment to grab it. Somebody had done a Decepticon version of Sideswipe called Cold Snap.
Okay,
Repainted it in blue and white and gave it a Decepticon symbol. Created a custom box. It was really
nice.
cool. And of course, I have Tiger Track, the original one, which is a repaint of
Yep.
Sideswipe. I have Clampdown and Deep Cover. You know, that's a good mold.
Oh yeah.
And then they've repainted it quite a bit. I do notice that someone in the chat said that their first Transformer was a repaint Fox Kids Rhinox. And actually, that's one of the things I'm going to be showing
Okay.
today. This is the Fox Kids repaint of Rhinox.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that they mention that. Somebody has a band called the Datsun Brothers.
Okay.
But yeah, Blue Streak and Prowl. Everyone gets mad about repaints, but look at Rumble and Frenzy,
Rumble Frenzy. What was it?
Laserbeak,
Yeah.
and Buzzsaw. It's just, yeah, there are so many repaints, but I like what they're doing now with repaints is they're not just repainting, they're doing some remolding.
Yes.
Because when I got that new Cliff Jumper, which is based on the Chase mold, which is from the Rescue Bots universe,
Yep.
they don't look like they're really the same toy.
No.
I mean,
No.
the remolding and retooling is
And
just
that Prime Universe Cliff Jumper, they did a remarkable job with that.
yeah,
Just the how they retooled it, and just it still transforms, very similar, but a totally different look on the outside.
yeah, it's pretty awesome. So yeah, let us know in the comments. I see people chatting in there. What your favorite repaints are. I have some repaints over here that I want to show. Do you have some that you want to show? Do you want to go
Yeah,
first, or should I go first?
You go. That's your show. You go ahead.
All right. Well, the first one I'm going to show is actually a Japanese import. That is the Nucleon Quest Convoy. Black repaint of Power Master Optimus Prime. And what I like about the Japanese ones is the cab is die cast. It's really cool. And I mean, he's got the Autobot symbols on him, but he kind of looks like a Nemesis Prime, you know?
Yep. Got that Nemesis Power Master.
Yes. I mean, it was high Q, right?
Yep.
So low Z, low C. But yeah, this is a very cool repaint. Japan did so many black versions of toys, and I had a lot of them. I had Black Leo Convoy. They've done Black Optimus Primes, regular G1 style. They just if there's a toy, I have keychains if you remember when those Minibot keychains came out, I have the black versions of those.
Okay.
So it's like it's pretty amazing how Japan loves to create black versions of our beloved characters. And
Hey, you know what? Everything looks great in black.
yeah, like my cat.
There you go.
Though she's a tortie, but she can be a little evil sometimes, can't you, Sky? We have a new addition to the family, a new cat named Honor.
Oh.
Do you have any idea where I might have gotten the name from?
Honor Harrington?
Yes, you are the second person to recognize that that reference. You got that reference. You can be Captain America now. But yeah, so got her, and they don't get along, and Sky's been terrorizing her a little bit. We had to introduce her slowly. Sky doesn't really get along with any of the other cats that much, though she tolerates the others a little bit more than this new infidel. But yeah, I'm gonna get a repaint of you. What do you think of that? Wouldn't Sky look cool in like white with like gray?
Yeah, little accents on there.
Yeah. Decepticon symbol right on the chest, or an Autobot, because she could be a Decepticon, couldn't you? Debo Brick's favorite repaint is the Guardian Robot, which I see you have the new one behind you.
I do. That's actually one of my favorites with that mold. I'm a big Omega Supreme fan, and I have pretty much all the different molds of him, and this one, the way they brought that out, and the blue and white together with the gray accents really make it very striking. I've always been a big fan of the old Cybertron, the Golden Age, and you see all the spiffy off the line Sentinels. So I'm waiting for them to do the Decepticon or the Quintesson purple and gray.
Well, they do have the third-party ones like that, but I don't know that Hasbro, because I don't think the Guardian Robot did as well as Omega Supreme.
Oh, I couldn't imagine it would. It's definitely a niche. I think that's why they went with selects for it.
So I think getting a purple one from Hasbro, not necessarily going to happen. It would be nice.
Yeah. Although I can live without it. I've got my two base ones. The OG Omega and then the Sentinel. I know the original black and red one, New Age does, which is a third-party company. That's a very striking color set.
Yeah, I put. I did get a third-party one that's like a purple Omega Supreme, or it could be a Quintesson. I do have the eHobby original Guardian Robot.
Nice.
And at one point I considered selling it because did you ever hear about the Purge? That I had, and this is not to brag, this is just fact, I had every single U.S. released G1 toy, even some variants like the blue-eared Cyclonus.
Nice.
And then I had yellow cliff jumpers and red bumblebees. I had a bunch of the like the yellow wind charger and the blue wind charger from South America. I had an amazing collection of jump starters, Saltman Z, and all these different colors. I've started kind of collecting those again.
Okay.
And then I had all the US G2, except like the ones that weren't actually produced. I never had a G2 original Menasor. or even a G2 Breakdown. That's the one BotCon exclusive I did not get because it was just too expensive.
Yeah,
But I had
unless
all
you
the
were
others.
there, it's kind of hard to get a hold of now.
Yeah, I mean, if you have the money.
Yeah.
But I have these things called bills. I'm pretty sure you do too.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
They kind of like to be paid every now and again.
Yeah, if I don't pay my mortgage, they might, take away my house, and then where would I keep my Transformers?
I say you got to have a place to keep your stuff.
Yeah. Well, George Carlin always used to say, you get a bigger house because you got more stuff.
Yep.
But, yeah, and I had all the Beast Wars US, all the general release, not like they made 5 of this version of Galvatron, but I had the Beast Wars 2, the Beast Wars Neo.
Yep.
I was a completist. And then I was looking at my G1 collection one day, and I'm like, I have some credit card debt. I need some work done on the house. I don't touch these things because they're so fragile. Why don't I sell them to people who would really enjoy them and, make some money?
Yep.
Bye, Sky. Don't terrorize Honor. And yeah, so I cleared off all my credit card debt. I put money in the bank. I got work done on my house. It was financially a good move.
Yeah.
But now when I'm doing like the evolution of things like Cup, which I see the Takara Legends Cup is Ethan's favorite. I think Ethan is a major Cup fan. But when I was doing the evolution of Cup, I had to borrow some toys from Tony and Rose. For those who don't know, Tony and Rose, they run RetroCon, which is an awesome con, which I definitely recommend you get to. This year they have people from The Last Starfighter, Night of the Comet. They have some Happy Days people. They also have, I think it's Michael Bell, Prowl, and Duke.
Yeah.
And they have Townsend Coleman from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So they have some great guests, but the toys there are fantastic. There's just, over 300 vendor tables. It's a great con. I don't mean to pimp out the con or, be a, but, my friends run it and they have an incredible collection. They have a lot more toys than just Transformers. I think on Transformers there were stuff that I had that they didn't, but then they had some stuff that I was very jealous of. I believe they still have an original Black Zarek, and they lent me for the story of Megatron a Diaclone Megatron. So they have an incredible collection, and it's and they are kind enough to lend me some of these toys. In fact, some of the toys they've lent me, I sold them during the purge. So Benjamin says his favorite repaints is Universe Reptilion, Trichranicus. I know Tripedicus, and I know Tripedicus Agent. Armada Pterosaur is kind of cool. Armada Cheetor is cool. Universe Skywarp, the Jetstorm repaint. He's definitely very cool. So yeah, was the Guardian the one that you wanted to show, or did you have another one?
Yeah,
you wanted to show?
Guardian was one of the ones I was going to show. Just as more than I pretty much picked up a lot of the more modern ones, just to have out as representations. I didn't dig out a lot of the
older stuff,
old timers. The only one I really picked out was a good old G2 Optimus Prime, which is the repaint of Thunderclash from the European exclusive.
It's actually Machine Wars.
Machine Wars, yep.
Yeah. Which I don't know if you saw. I actually have an original Thunderclash, who I'm very careful with because he's got gold plastic.
I'd say he was one of the ones I always wanted to get because I love the paint scheme on him, but I also don't want to pay that kind of money and have him disintegrate in my hands.
Have you seen the Fans Hobby?
I have him. Yep.
You have him.
I do. That's how I was like I scratched that itch by getting him, and I've been very happy with that. That mold is fantastic. I know they redid that uh, that used that mold also for a few other toys that they put together.
Yep, for a
Um,
Machine Wars Prime, and I think did they do it like a Power Master? I'm not.
yep, they retooled it for a Power Master. Um, and I love Fans Hobby. I have a lot of their stuff. I love when they do the special convention TFCon specials. I have the machine Machine Wars Soundwave they put out. It's a little radar dish guy,
Yep,
missile guy. So that was
who is a
fun.
repaint of Stalker.
Yep. I wanted to get Stalker, couldn't get Stalker, but I like, you know what? Soundwave's good.
I'm gonna. It breaks my heart. I had Skyquake, the original. I
Mhm.
had Stalker. I had all the Predator jets with missiles and missile launchers. Though the
Mhm.
missile launchers were gold plastic, so you had to be really careful.
Oh yeah.
Had all the Turbo Masters, and I still have Thunderclash. I used to also have Rotor Storm,
Oh
and
nice.
I had the whole set, and yeah, I decided to keep Thunderclash because
Yep.
one of my favorites. But
Yeah,
um,
I couldn't get many European because it was one of those things. Not a lot of cash growing up, so I got a lot of the mini bots, and then I've kind of been trying to make up for it as an adult with my adult money.
yeah, well
So
that's how I got a lot of these Europeans. I spent a good amount of money, but I was buying like lots of toys, and then I had a store at one point, so sometimes I would get a collection in, and it would have some stuff I would upgrade my own toys. I'd be like, oh, this Razor Claw is better than mine. I'm gonna swap it out and sell my old one. And I actually got a test, like an early prototype of Drag Strip, um, who didn't have the rub sign indent yet, and was not
okay,
didn't have any chrome on it, but it was the one kid that I bought a collection from. His sister had worked at Hasbro, so he got a couple nice pieces.
yeah. It's like
But
I remember I regret not having the ability to get some of the stuff sooner because the market really shot up
mhm.
about 15 years ago, and it just went from like 0 to 1,000 real quick.
Yeah, that was around the time, you know, the time of the purge was about 2009, 2010. So that
Yep.
was about the time I sold some Micromaster sets, some of the later ones.
Yeah.
There was a guy in Australia who was paying like over $100 for Micromaster sets, and I was like, wow.
Okay. Yeah.
I also
Gotta
got
pay.
screwed a couple times with overseas shipping because they'd say, "Oh, I never received it," and there's
Yeah.
no way to track. And so after that, after a couple times of that, I'm like, if you're overseas, it's going to be sent out priority mail, trackable. I don't care if it's going to cost you more than the actual toy. If you are bidding, but I actually enjoyed some of the later repaints. Like you remember this guy,
Oh, yeah.
Obsidian,
Yep.
and then they did Obsidian and
Yeah.
Obsidian and Obsidian.
Yeah.
I love this mold. It's just a very cool mold, and I could just see an army of these guys just like in helicopter mode, just you know, coming at a bunch of Autobots or Maximals or whoever they're fighting this week.
Yep.
Um,
Well, part of the thing with the Beast Machines was the fact that they had all the Viacons and then the Generals, and the Generals are just basically larger versions of the Viacons.
yep. Though the Tankor drone, the tank drone was looked more like Tankor than the actual
Then,
Tankor toy.
well, and that's the thing. A lot of times back, especially back in the day, they just have concept art to go by. And then by the time they got done retooling everything and getting it on screen, it was like it looked totally different. from what the prototype was.
Yeah, the actual toys. I don't know if you saw. I did a video, and I've been wanting to do another one. Have you seen Pitch Meeting? Ryan George.
Yeah, yeah,
He's hilarious.
yes, he
But
is.
I did a takeoff basically saying, so you got some more repaints for me or some more reissues for me? Yeah, I thought this time we would do Canine. Canine from Doctor Who? I don't think we could do, and just, did the whole thing. But I want to do one like, so you have the first wave of Beast Machines for me? Yes, sir, I do. Great. Dozens of bots? No, there's 5. Well, there's 5 main characters. Yeah, only 2 of them are on the show.
Yeah.
And then when, so I don't want to go through the whole script that I have in my head, but keep an eye out for that.
Gotta save it for the actual punch.
Yes. The pitch meeting, but I also at the end of my parody video I said, thanks to Ryan George, and I acknowledged that I was parodying him. Ethan asks if I have a G1 cup. Yes, I do. I had to borrow Target Master G1 cup from Tony and Rose, but for the evolution of cup, because there's a lot of cups,
Oh yeah,
they're important. Got to protect your balls.
It's you got a lot of cabinet space.
I had to buy 2 more shelves, and I'm trying to slowly rearrange and put everything in chronological order the way it came out. And it's just time is the fire in which we burn. So it's
absolutely.
How do you display your stuff?
I'm in the midst of reorganizing myself. I finally got my my little office space down here set up, and now it's a matter of getting everything out onto shelves and out of boxes and whatnot.
Yeah, I'm also not sure what I have left after the purge. It's like I thought I had 1 toy, and I'm like, I guess I sold it, and I needed to buy it for a video. That's I'm reacquiring my old collection slowly. I don't know that I'll ever have, because I had things like the Legends Kmart exclusives of Bumblebee, Starscream, Jazz, and Grimlock on card. Oh, because that's the only way you could be sure it's not just the interior of a Pretender.
Yeah.
I had all those. I'll probably never get everything back. But
yeah.
Razor Claw, Rockbuster is another great repaint. Rockbuster was the Japanese name. They actually had the same coloration scheme with Razor Claw in the video pack which I actually showed that in my favorite Predacons video. Yes, Predacons. Detritus is a good one someone mentioned, and I have the original, who is obviously also a Hound repaint.
Oh yeah, I loved when they announced that, and it was like everyone was like, Detritus. It's like, okay, hang on, go back. He's just a tan hound, and it's like, yeah. There's actually storylines with that.
But he's a Junkion.
He's a Junkion
and an arms dealer.
Yep.
Apparently, Tricranius is a recent repaint of a fossilizer, which was a PulseCon exclusive. I'm pretty sure I have it. I have to say the fossilizers didn't throw me as much as like the weaponizers like Cog and all those. Even though I don't even like to take Cog and put him as a, weapon or armor for someone else. I just like Cog to be Cog.
Yeah. You need Cog because if you have Fortress Maximus, you got to have the team together. It's like 6-shot and all like that. You got to have all the guys together. I was not a big fan of fossilizers myself. I found it a little disturbing that robots would put bones strapped to them. It's just like, okay, well, if they do these to dinosaurs, they do this to mammoths and stuff like that. How far till humans? And
yeah, it's, but yeah, I mean, I have them. but because I've gotten a little bit more completist. But yeah, the fossilizers don't thrill me. But some people love them, so that's all good.
Yeah, I know the recent ones where they did the basically Rock Lords, the volcanic
From the
universe,
Infernac
the
universe.
Fernac. Yeah. I've gotten most of them. I haven't got all of them because it's like, okay, I like the Rock Lords. They're GoBots. Cool. Uh, I'm not sure I really am into a rock truck, rock motorcycle.
I'm waiting for a rock
Helicopters have a,
lobster.
yeah, rock lobsters. I mean, they don't do that. Helicopters have a hard enough time flying as is. Don't make them mad of rock. But I gotta admit that one does look kind of cool with the green there, and I got the
And it's the crystal from Chaos.
yep,
Made out of the crystal from the Chaos. It's
and
chaos coming at us. Oh my
the,
god.
the Nucleon, Nucleotron or something like that. The white version of the I like that. It was once again another repaint. I thought looked better in the white and gold than it did in the gray and black.
Yeah, sometimes, well, I mean, even the, well, actually, I kind of liked Night Slash Cheetor,
Yeah.
but I did like the fact that they eventually came out with a regular Cheetor.
Oh yeah.
Cat Scan was okay. I mean, I think I still have him somewhere, but yeah, someone mentioned I don't even know which Transformers I have. That is true. I have to go through. That's why I'm putting them in order so I can figure out which ones I'm missing and which ones I need to fill in.
Better to organize.
Exactly. Because
My favorite. I
go
know
ahead.
they did the retooling of the Cheetor, the Transmetal Cheetor into Ravage, and that was slick. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I that went in the purge, unfortunately, but yeah, Jaguar
Yep.
from the Metals line.
Yep.
I was gonna say from the Energon line, I actually love these guys, and I think I
Yeah.
have a third one somewhere. I just don't know where. But Skyblast, and I think this is also Skyblast from the movie, but they also made an air raid,
Yep.
and which I think I have somewhere. I just couldn't find them. When I think of when I look at these guys and their weapons, I see them standing at a door on
Mhm.
either side, just like you shall not pass. You know, this is I think it's a great mold. I
Mhm.
wish they had 40 different color variations of it, and they could just be like the elite Autobot Air Guard and just charge out. But
It's kind of like what they did with the new Seeker molds. That
yeah,
basically you had the rainbow colors there.
the Skittles,
Yep.
taste the
That,
rainbow.
I started collecting the new um, Sideswipe mold that they did and all the variations thereof, and I call that my Skittle Patrol.
They are quite colorful.
Oh yeah.
Though some of the third party ones, which I know this is not third party Thursday, like I have the Skittles version of I like to call it that of the Combaticons,
Yep.
but they come with a submarine and all that. But they're all like very Skittlish colors. I also have the Jolly Rancher third party mini Predacons,
Okay.
and it's like clear plastic in very bright colors, so it
Yep.
looks like a bunch of Jolly Ranchers. So what other repaints you got to show us?
Well, another one of the more recent ones we have here is the comic accurate Grimlock, and
Me, Grimlock, happy to be here.
here's another mold that has had several repaints in its short time.
Yep.
We've had everything from the original. We've had the bright yellow G2 version. We've had the shattered glass version. So far, this guy right here is one of my favorites because of the striking detail in the neck, the bold lines in it, and the fact that it's the comic Grimlock, just adds so much presence to it because it had that nice little crown accessory.
Yes. I have the crown right over here.
Yep.
Yeah, and Grimlock in the comics would never put on a apron and serve drinks.
No, no, he was a lot smarter, and he just liked to play dumb. That way, people underestimate him.
Yeah, he was done dirty on the cartoon. He was just.
Oh yeah.
They did him dirty. But yeah, I've enjoyed, again, and this is not bragging. This is just because I'm crying about it. I had the original G1. I had the G2, the blue one.
Yep.
The turquoise, and the gray, which I
Nice.
didn't even know there was a gray until I happened to get a batch of Transformers on Grimlock, and I'm like, why does it have a G2 Grimlock or G2 Autobot symbol on his leg?
Yep.
And then I had to get the gray versions of Slag and Snarl, and
Yep.
the only way you could tell is that symbol.
Yep.
And of course I had the red and green of both of those. But yeah, more repaints, which, I loved having all of them. And I've seen a few people, some people have commented on my Grimlock videos and said, we're waiting for the blue G2, the yellow one, they weren't as thrilled with because it hadn't come out before. It was like G2 prototype.
Yep. And that was my thing is like when I think G2 Grimlock, I think of the blue one. I didn't think of the yellow one, but luckily I found them at Ross pretty cheap, and it was like, you know what, you're coming home.
I did not find them at Ross pretty cheap. I tend to not get mine pretty cheap because I don't want to miss out, and I never know what's actually going to sell. If I go to Ross later on or Ollie's and see ones that I already have, because now I get a vendor table at RetroCon, I'm like, let me grab a couple of these and see if I can make a little bit of a profit and share the wealth with my Transformer fans.
The Transformer distribution system.
Yeah, got to get them out there.
Absolutely.
Iron Bison asks if I'm drinking alcohol. Well, you see, no, I would not be a bad influence. Someone also asked, what is my favorite Trax mold?
Okay.
I have to go, because Trax is like one of my favorite Autobots ever. He is incredibly stylish. He's got a great auto mode. And, he is one of my favorites. And I have to go with G1. I mean, it's not as posable, but it is just beautiful. And I used to have the E-Hobby Road Rage.
Yep.
That went in the Purge, but I have the new Road Rage. And I don't hate any of the tracks that have come since. The one tracks that I definitely regret getting rid of is the Action Master tracks that I had. The European one. But yeah, I'm not as thrilled with the Universe one, I think it was. That
Reveal
they
the
turned
shield,
the
or
Wheeljack. Or Reveal the Shield.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just kind of meh, but the new one isn't bad.
It's not bad, especially if you can get the knees, the clip to work right. Where it wasn't misassembled. So that was
is a problem. Hasbro, what the fuck's up? Come on. Put these things together.
But I always love the fact that in the G1 advertising, it was, Road Rage on the poster, but they were selling tracks.
Yeah.
It was so.
Yeah, on the back of the box, it's like, ooh, red, that's a cool color. That's the original Diaclone color. But I know later on they added him in, but I always thought it was weird. And I'm not sure if Skids was in that initial lineup of Autobots.
Yep.
He
was. He got released halfway through the first season in '84, so he did the mid '84 release and in '85 release. So he kind of lost a lot of traction.
But I do remember that, and Megatron has thrust and dirged, and then I found Ramjet. I'm like, they didn't mention him. Poor guy. I know there are some that show thrust, dirge, and ramjet, but it's like, Jesus, guys, you made some commercials and you just left a whole Decepticon seeker out. Come on.
Yeah, whole bot out. He was late to the set. They couldn't hold up, so you lose out.
Yeah, that's not good. I want to grab my Rhinoxes that I want to display here. So,
okay.
And you might be able to correct me if I'm wrong here, but this, I believe, is the original U.S. release of Rhinox, pure brown.
That looks about right.
So what was interesting is I also got the Japanese one, which has the same brown color, but then it's turning gray. It's got gray highlights. And then they did the Fox Kids repaint where he turned entirely gray. So it's like a progression. It's like, did he catch some kind of gray disease? Kind of like Cosmic Rust, but it didn't kill him?
Well, I think it was Cheetor stressing him out.
Yeah. You're making me gray, Cheetor. But Big Bot said, no, Cheetor, shut up. Yeah, apparently our talking about Skittles and Jolly Ranchers sent someone to the kitchen.
Oh, then our job here is done.
Yes. And now I can get lots of money from Skittles and Jolly Ranchers.
Yep.
Yeah. I do want to apologize to everybody because I haven't put a new video out in a little over a week. I did have problems with my hands. A little tendonitis, so it was hard to, but I am going to be putting out soon some more reviews and stuff, including something someone asked me to do a review of the counterfeit reissue sets of Ravage and Rumble and Frenzy and I'm like, I would, but I'm not going to buy them for myself because I have so many of them. Why am I going to buy the counterfeit reissues when I already have the originals plus a bunch of, I have so many Ravages from different things. And it's like, but then I was contacted by a company who wanted to pay me to do some reviews. And among those toys that they offered me were so you're going to see a review of the counterfeit reissue cassettes. So
all right.
And we're going to have some cool deals for people who, go to my sponsor. So someone says Watermelon Mirage or Water Melage.
Yep. Water Melage.
I mean, a lot of those G2s were very reminiscent of European G2s and even some of the European G1s that were garishly colored.
Oh, yeah. I think that's what was for me when they were like, oh, it's G2. It's like, I don't quite remember it looking that way in the States, but then you look at the European sets and it's like, that's where it's at. Okay.
I had the G2 Firecons and the G2 Sparkabots, and they were garish and clear. Benjamin says the original Samurai Rhinox is underrated, but the Transmetal is favorite.
Yeah. I was disappointed they didn't put him in the show because just having him pull out tank treads underneath the Rhino body, that would have been cool to see.
I do have to say I love the episode where Megatron turned him into a Predacon.
Yeah.
He was smirking. He was watching and smirking.
Yep.
Ethan Watts. I'm sorry, go on.
It shows you. It shows you, it's like, hey, you could either be like a good, decent guy, or you could be the most evil Predacon there ever was.
Yeah. It's like, well, look at Shattered Glass Prime. I mean, so unwise. Yeah.
Yep. Well, then you saw it also with Rhinox when Megatron got a hold of him again, and in Beast Machines, and turned him into Tankor.
Yep.
He kind of just switched back to that Predacon Rhinox.
Except Tankor was not nearly as bright. I think Megatron may have deliberately suppressed his intelligence
Hmm.
because he knew what happened last time, and he didn't want Tankor to, get ambitions of his own.
Oh yeah.
So that's the way I see it. Ethan in the chat said he got Armada Unicron as a gift for free, and he doesn't want to open it, and wants me to review it.
Okay.
Well, I'm not going to review yours, obviously. I did get the, I think it's the platinum. It's the green Unicron.
Okay. The Energon Unicron.
No, I think it was came out quite a bit later.
Okay.
And yeah, that is on my list to review, so you will see it. It will grace this table, and
Yeah, I got the original Armada Unicron, and I he was fun because it was like we finally got a Unicron,
yeah,
and then they did the reissue for Energon, and then they of course Hasbro did their funding, their HasLab.
I did
And
not get. Did you get that?
no, no.
I regret, because I was like 500. No, I can't justify that.
Yep.
And now I'm like, oh, I wish I had.
Yep. And that's the thing too, is like I've heard such mixed emotions about that. People who are like, I'm glad I got it. And then other guys that are like, other people who are like, you know what? It's too complex. It's so hard to transform. You pretty much, he's one and done. You transform him once, you put him on a shelf, you pick whether you want him as robot mode or planet mode, and that's it. And I like playing my Transformers. So
I do too. I don't generally have enough time.
yep.
And I do have the original Armada one. He's in the other room, standing on the top of a case that has, oddly, the animated series stuff in it. But on the top of the case, I have the Armada Unicron. I have the Unicron that they made that was like smaller, a deluxe size Unicron.
Yep, with the tank mode.
Yep.
Yep.
Like me, oh my god, I've been shrunken down. And the Blentrons, which are, two of them are repaints of Fusors, and one of them looks almost exactly like Injector. But the Torca repaint, the Elaforca, I think he's called.
Yeah.
He is cool looking. So is Drancon, but but yeah, so they were minions of Unicron, which I thought was cool.
Yeah. I know they did the BotCon exclusive Astro Train, which was the repaint of Armada
Jetfire, was it?
Jetfire, and they had Minicons of Hook, Line, and Sinker that went with him. They're also, as you know, comic minions of Unicron.
Yes. I might still have that somewhere. I'm not sure if I sold it. I'm still going through. I have boxes, just totes in my garage filled with toys. Even some modern ones that I haven't even opened yet. Because when I started doing the reviews, I'm like, I should open this on camera.
Yep.
But it's
I too have the boxes because I used to work with Amtrak, and you can make good money on Amtrak. So my investment then was to buy Transformers, but unfortunately, because I was working with Amtrak, I didn't have time to open them.
Yes.
So they would get put into boxes, and it's like, I'm going to get to them my day off, and I'd get called to work, and so I have a backlog that have to get opened. I'm probably going to do them on camera myself, and go from there.
Yeah. Well, once you start going full throttle, tell everyone what your YouTube channel is, where you're going to be there. So.
Okay. You can find me at That Guy Magnus, and that's on YouTube. It's on Facebook. It's on Instagram, TikTok. So I
And
don't know.
he has
There's too many.
cosplayed Ultra Magnus.
I do. I have a Ultra Magnus cosplay. Um, One of my favorites. Probably the from the '86 line. It's Ultra Magnus and Springer are my two favorites.
Did you
But I
get the
have
new Studio Series one?
yes, I did.
That is on the review line.
Yep, it. I'm hoping by this weekend, but I've learned to kind of like pace myself. Go at my own pace. If it gets done, it gets done. Uh, so it's one of those things. If today I don't feel up to it, then we'll get it by tomorrow.
I'm looking around. There's a few. Just to give people who came to the live stream preview, I'm going to be doing this set.
Ah, the Magic Square. Okay.
Yeah, the tape team,
Yep.
which is cool. I actually have the add-on kit that has the cassette that changes into the probe, and it also
Yes.
had like a ladder for Universe Inferno, and it had just a bunch of stuff. And I'm gonna be going through
Ah,
the new
the
Transformers
Transformer
1
One
stuff.
sets. I got the studio series of their Optimus Prime, and that it was a fun little Transformer. It had it does everything and looks like it. I think nowadays people are so spoiled. It's like their Transformers look exactly like they do on screen.
Mm-hmm.
Not back in the day, '84. We had these figures that had the same colors, general shape, couldn't do any of the moves that they had on the box.
And don't
But
even
they were
talk about
cool.
Ironhide and Ratchet. Though they did appear in their toy forms in the very first episode, very first issue of
Yep.
the comic. They were in those weird forms, and then they decided to change it over.
Yep. Well, the first two issues actually they were still in their toy forms because they hadn't done the actual modeling for the cartoon yet. So they finally finished up with that, and then everybody caught up with each other, and it was like, no, this is much better. Let's go here. And finally, with the Studio Series '86 line, they finally got a really good Ironhide and Ratchet set. You know,
Except they don't have the stripes. If you want the stripes, you got to get the dead ones.
you get the dead ones or toy hacks. That's been my go-to so far. Is if I don't like the exact look of them, I'll look for toy hacks stickers, and they've never let me down yet.
Yeah, my friend Jason, who's Patriot Prime reviews, he has an arrangement with them where so if you go to his channel, you can get a discount code. Now I'm promoting it. Other people. See, I told you we're very supportive in this community.
That's we're all in this together because till all are one.
Till all are one. But I will be the one. Yeah, he does a lot of the stickers and shows, the upgrades, and usually has a coupon code. I bought some stickers because, so the counterfeit reissues, they don't put on the factory labels,
Okay.
but they usually come with them. But once in
Okay.
a while, you'll get one that doesn't have them. So I had to get, for Hound, I had to get actual factory labels from Toy Hacks instead.
Okay.
And the same thing happened with my Gnaw. So I wanted to get, because, spoiler alert, I'm going to be doing an Invasion of the Sharkticons video and going through a bunch of Sharkticons. So
Now, do you have the Mirage repaint that did the Sharkticons from the BotCon?
no, I don't have the Mirage repaint. I have the I think it's from Prime, the Sharkticon Megatron.
Okay.
But I don't. You see, I went to BotCon for 12 years, from 2000 to 2011. I went every year. I got the exclusives. I was a completist. I kept them. It might have been more around 2012 that the purge happened. It's kind of hard to remember, but I went to all the BotCons, and I managed to go back and get all the BotCon exclusives that I had missed except for Breakdown. I had Night Racer, I had Wind Razor, I had all the Zers,
all the Azers.
Yep, I had the Pack Rat and Fractal, and the it was, but I kind of got sick of BotCon because they had their Fun Publications had taken over, and they had their Primus package, which was fine. I would pay that. I would get this nice box set. I would get door things and all that. That was fine. But then they decided to do the gold or the platinum Primus package, where you pay twice as much and you get priority seating at the panels and maybe in a little bit earlier. And it was just like, how much money grubbing can you be? Have you gone to any of the BotCons?
I haven't gone to the BotCons, and I haven't gone to the TFCons yet. Mostly because every time I would come up, I'd be working or whatnot. So I've been trying to. I'm just let the viewers know. I recently am recovering from brain cancer, so it's all good. Got the cancer out, getting treatment. And so I've been trying to mark off that good old bucket list, because I've realized that you got to step up and live life while you can. So this year I'm going to go to TFCon, which is coming up.
Didn't we talk about this? Or are you going to room with me? Because I have a room.
Well, I'm not sure yet, because I can't drive anymore. So getting around's a little bit rougher. Usually I have my wife chauffeur me around. So we're still working on the logistics of that.
Okay.
But I am planning to attend, if nothing else.
All right. Well, if you get there, you can have a place to stay.
I appreciate it.
We will snuggle in the king bed. No, there's two separate beds.
I hear I cuddle well.
That's good to know. That's good to know. Yeah, TFCon I've been going to. I went to the BotCon that was in New Jersey. Then they had it in Fort Wayne, and I'm like, it's not the con it used to be. Mm-hmm. So I went out to Pasadena, California for that con back in the day. But I'm like, I used to go to one con a year, and it was BotCon. And then I discovered other cons.
Yep.
And now I'm all over the place. That's another reason why I did not do any videos, is because I had another con, Terrificon, which was terrific.
All in the name.
It was not false advertising. I got to moderate panels. I got to, and we recorded panels and got to take pictures with celebrities, and Matt Ryan is a hoot. And we actually kind of reenacted, when I was moderated his panel, he had mentioned that he and Tom Ellis had come up during the crisis with Tom Ellis calling him Constantine, and him correcting him, it's Constantine. So that's how I introduced him on stage. But in the comic books, it's actually opposite. It's supposed to be Constantine.
Yeah.
But so people call him Constantine to be like, no, it's Constantine. But they decided to call him Constantine.
I think Constantine is just contradictory. So whatever somebody said is like, no, it's this way.
Yeah. He's just kind of that kind of bastard,
Yep.
Do you have another repaint for us?
Let's see here. All right. Speaking of the modern repaint series, the Senator Shockwave, which is based off of the Tetrajet Seeker mold,
with quite a bit of retooling.
A little bit of retooling here. But it is definitely it's a very striking figure in this Ultra Magnus color scheme here.
Yeah, it is interesting. To be honest, the comic book I have not really dived into.
Okay.
When Dreamwave started putting out stuff, I started getting all the variant covers and, started reading that. But they had so many splash pages, so little story in each comic book. I was kind of frustrated. Yeah. It wasn't like Marvel. Yeah, the detail wasn't as much there, and it wasn't as flashy. But you had a solid story in that 22 pages or whatever. With Dreamwave, it was like you'd read it and it'd be like, okay, so basically it's the story of Optimus Prime getting up, going to the bathroom, and grabbing some breakfast. It's like there's not...
You get a small segment of story, and then it was like, huge art. Because that was basically what Dreamwave was. They banked on that because they did that the Wizard magazine article about updating 80s properties, and then Jim Lee had done the big splash art, and then they were like, okay, you know what, we want that style, and he was like, I will only do this if you let my company do the book. So it was all based off of art. And I've been I followed it, and I loved the all the artwork because everything was updated. It had that whole fresh take on it, because even now we still have the image from Dreamwave and posters and art books and stuff like that still going on, and visually stunning.
Yeah.
My biggest disappointment was the fact that they stopped. They mishandled money. They shut down the business, and they never finished like these interesting stories. Like they're next issue they were going to bring out.
There was stories.
Yeah.
But the thing was, it just took so long for them to tell the story. It'd be a 6-issue arc, and that would be 1 or 2 issues in the old Marvel days.
Yeah.
Just because of all the artwork. And again, you're right, absolutely right. The artwork was incredible. Yep. And some of the storylines, and I love the fact that like the rub sign was like because the war had ended, and it was like a secret way of, see, I'm an Autobot. I got my rub sign. That was a cool way to bring in that particular part of it. But and then IDW, I'm sorry.
Yeah. I was going to say the IDW was that perfect combination of art and story, where you had both of them just mixed together, and that was damn near the perfect comic run.
I've heard wonderful things about it. I just have not had time because, like you, I have to have a day job, and when I'm not doing my day job, I'm at a con, or I'm making videos, or I'm editing videos, or I'm writing scripts, or I'm and I'm trying to find time to play with my Transformers, and it's like, so yeah, I do want to go through those comics one day. Maybe I'll do a dramatic reading of them as Megatron. There you go. I am Megatron, and I am going to read this comic.
Well, they had the new series done by Image under the Skybound label. That has been very good as well. Not as intricate visually, not as in-depth with the art like Dreamwave and IDW. It has more of a grittier, almost 90s feel to the artwork. But the storylines are solid. And, that they're up to, I think, issue 11 just came out. So, and it's a very interesting take on everything. And they're doing it's part of the whole Energon universe. So you have G.I. Joe and Transformers together.
Which is cool. I may be able to read those. Excuse me. I need more alcohol, I guess. But
there you go.
Yeah, it's Pepsi Zero. Sorry, guys. I'm not going to get inebriated.
One can hope.
Yeah, there's actually, if they actually had AI where I could say, make a Transformers story, here's the script, make it in the old style cartoon, I would love to do. I have an idea for a cool story where Megatron manages to send Optimus and a bunch of Autobots to an alternate universe.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not the Shattered Glass. They show up at the Ark and it's blue.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not Teletran 1, it's Auntie.
Oh boy. Okay.
Deep cut. But the leader of the Autobots there is Centurion Prime. And it would be using a lot of the repaints like Deep Cover, and it wouldn't be the same crew. And they'd be like, "Oh, we've never heard of Optimus Prime." It's like, Auntie, look up Orion Pax. And basically, in that universe, the aerial bots were never created and sent back in time to save Orion Pax. So he never became Optimus Prime. And the Matrix was lost, so they don't even have the Matrix. And these Autobots are a little more... They don't go out of their way to harm humans, but they're a little less careful about, it's like, we're here to fight Decepticons. If the humans get in the way, that's their problem. We're not going to go out of our way to hurt them, but, they're more of a nuisance. And, so I have this whole storyline for that. And then I wanted to do one where, like, Thunderclash and a bunch of the other... his Turbo Mass, they basically had like a multi-dimensional quest where this mysterious entity was coming to different Transformers worlds and stealing incredible power sources, like the Underbase, like the Allspark from the animated universe, like the Allspark from the Bayverse, like trying to get the Matrix from the G1 unit, just basically gathering all these artifacts of power. And since it'll never get made, I mean, a version of Starscream was doing all the stealing, but he wasn't the one behind it.
Okay.
It was Decepticon.
Oh, man. To think that he would be a mastermind of anything.
Well, basically, he learned his lesson and ended up leaving the Decepticons, but he grew wise and powerful and came up with this scheme so that he could gather all the artifacts of power and become like a god and basically do a crisis on infinite Cybertrons and type stuff.
Nice.
But speaking of European ones, this has no name. Are you familiar with this toy?
Looks like a Machine Wars or G2 mold.
It is actually a G1 Japanese mold.
Okay.
They redid it, and it was a Breastmaster.
Okay.
All you perverts out there can be like, "Ooh, he said breast." It was basically part of
Leo Kaiser.
But in Europe, they decided to release unnamed. Lion Primal just joined. Hi. They did a unnamed set of the Autobot Rescue Force, which I gave them names. I call this guy Freefall.
Okay. Good name.
They also did the car. Patriot Prime, by the way, I don't know where he got him because I haven't watched his videos yet. I haven't had time, but he's reviewing the original Leo Kaiser ones of these. But
okay,
they repainted them, and this I call him Pit Stop. This guy they remolded. He was a tank, but they gave him instead these claws.
Okay.
And I used to, when I originally got him, I called him Clampdown.
Okay.
And then they came out with Clampdown. So I'm like, what the fuck? You took my name. They had no idea, but so I renamed him to Extractor.
Okay.
So.
And that was based off of Kill Bison, right?
Yes. And then there was the drill tank, who I named Geyser.
Okay.
So, yes, I came up with, I thought, some pretty good Transformer names. But these are cool repaints as well, because they're repaints of Decepticons that got made into Autobots that didn't have names, but they also released at the same time to fight these guys all the Constructicons. Mm-hmm. But some of the pieces you may have come across, a Bone Crusher that's yellow with like a gray canopy.
Okay.
That's what that line was. They released all the Constructicons without the merge pieces, just the individual weapons, and they didn't put the names on their packages either. They just released the Constructicon. We all knew their names, but that was in Europe to fight these guys.
Okay.
So another cool repaint. You have another one?
Oh, let's see here. Another modern. The Megatron. They did the minor Megatron. Now this mold has been done, I believe, 12 different times. Been reissued.
I mean, I love repaints, but they need to move on from this mold.
One of my favorite things about it is this little drill bit on the top here. It looks like he was a miner. Yep.
This is another version of that mold.
Yep.
This is from the Fractured Friendship.
Yep.
I just reviewed recently. So yeah.
So I like this color scheme. It has the darker colors. It has the caution strips on the top. It just the D16 was a very nice retool of that, but I'm good. They can stop with this mold. Find another Megatron. I know they're planning to do an 86 Studio Series Megatron. Everyone's upset about it being a tank.
I'm not upset about it being a tank as long as it's not this tank.
Please don't be that. I know it's supposed to be Commander class, and to match up with the new 86 Prime, which I'm happy about because the 86 Prime is just a little bit bigger than
I haven't gotten mine yet. I wonder why, because I've ordered it.
Yeah, I haven't. I've ordered mine. It's still pre-ordered. A lot of them are getting, of course, European and Canada has been getting them. I don't know if anybody personally in the States have got them yet.
Except certain YouTubers who,
yes,
won't be mentioned.
I don't. Some people have better resources than I do, and you know what? More power to them. Let them have fun. I'll get mine eventually.
People still watch my videos even though they reviewed it 8 months before because they have connections. Ba weep grana weep ninny bong, Mr. G says. Ethan wants to know if I'm going to do another fan live stream. So what I did previously, just so you know, Magnus, is I had a thing where anyone during a live stream who gave a super chat would be entered into a drawing to appear in the next live stream, and I may do that in the future. I just I don't know when, so I'm not running that contest. Anyone who wants to give a super chat, I would very much thank you, but that is not entering you into any contests at this point. But yeah, I did like the minor Megatron. I was a little annoyed what mold it was from.
Yeah.
And I did get the Fractured Friendship. The Optimus, which is a retool remold, is really nice, I have to say. I do like this version of Optimus. But I could agree with some people who are like, the Optimus is cool, but I'm not spending that much just to get another Megatron.
Yeah, that was what with me. I'm like, I've tried to get pretty much complete the set, but I have enough of that particular mold of Megatron. Yeah, and I'm waiting for it to go on clearance, and then I'll try to pick them up.
I'll be shocked. I'm actually shocked that it hasn't sold out because the Fractured Friendship, people usually buy that. So I'm surprised it's still in stock. I don't know that it's going to go on clearance, but
I don't know either. Usually I'm very big and get all the San Diego Comic-Con Transformer exclusives and try to make sure I'm on there and I'm going to pick it up. But this was the first year I didn't pick up a Transformers San Diego Comic-Con stuff. I got the GI Joe and I got the Death's Head from Marvel, and because he can go with my Transformers.
Yep.
So
He can hunt down Cyclonus and Scourge,
yep,
and then run across Doctor Who and get shrunk down.
yep, cut down to size, one would say.
Very, very, very true, Sarah Jane. Yeah, I thought the Dino King was actually a San Diego exclusive, and someone said no, it's going to be a PulseCon exclusive.
Yeah, it's going to be PulseCon. I am interested in that. I
Yeah.
knew as soon as they did the Legend scaled Dinobots, I was like, okay, that's going to be Dino King. Can't wait. I don't know how they were going to release it mainstream, and they're like, nope, PulseCon. Cool.
That makes sense.
Yep.
I mean, because a lot of people aren't as familiar unless they're really into Transformers. The more
Yep.
casual fans aren't as familiar. I do wish they would have Pretender shells. I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't see that happening. I know that a third-party company did them with shells and everything, but that's been years ago.
Ethan can't find your channel, so make sure afterwards.
Mhm.
I'll make sure it's approved. Put your or send me the URL for your channel, and I'll put it into the description. I'll edit the description so that people can find it later.
Awesome, thank you.
Loading says the Guardian robot is really awesome. Heard
Oh
it
yeah,
has a paint chipping issue. Do you have that?
I haven't had any issue with him. I've transformed him a few times. I've had him since he was released, and yeah, I've moved him around. I've play with him. Haven't had any issues with him. The joints are still nice and tight. No chipping. Um, it's just a really solid mold. Um,
Yeah, I haven't experienced any problems with mine either. So that is just interesting that people are having issues with that.
it's really weird because I know some people have had problems with the yellowing plastic with a bunch of the Transformers from a few years back. I haven't had a lot of that. The Starscream that did the Shattered Glass Starscream, he's still white for me. Although the first run of the Top Gun crossover Transformers, he was getting a little yellow.
I have it over there. I haven't removed it from the box yet. It's one of those
Yeah,
ones I haven't gotten to.
yep. I still have them in the box, but I looked in the box the other day, and it's like, oh yeah, yeah, yellow and plastic.
I'll have to take a look later. That's kind of scary. Um, are you familiar with this version of Armada Prime?
Let's see here. I've seen it before. Is it the? It's not the Costco
It was.
repaint.
I think it's Sam's Club or Costco. It was
Yeah.
some exclusive. And he came with a yellow version of Overload. I think it was called.
Yep. Because they
Which
did the
is
same thing with the Armada. No, excuse me, the RID Optimus Prime and Ultra Magnus.
yeah. I still have the yellow, the P yellow Optimus Prime from
Yep.
Universe in the thing. But yeah, I got this and the Overload. I still have those.
Okay.
And I have the Ultra Magnus version of that mold, which is kind of cool.
Oh yeah, that's the only one I haven't gotten of that Overload mold. It's one I've been trying to get a hold of because I try to collect the Ultra Magnus figures for some
Obvious
reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That kind of makes sense.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, that one I kept, and and I have the original Overload too. So I got the 3 different colorations. I also have an Optimus Prime case. So
Okay.
I'm looking at your table. trying to see if there's anything else on there.
I have the redeco for the Scourge mold from the recent Legacy line or the Studio Series.
Oh, the Rat Bat.
Yep, that did Rat Bat, Senator Rat Bat. It's really neat in the black and purples. It's very striking, and the fact that they made the bat wings, that just adds to the whole thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I haven't even opened up this one yet, but I have the.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, the Ferric. I actually have a third-party version, and I didn't realize he was actually had a different name because, again, I believe that's from the IDW comic.
Yep.
And yeah, I was not familiar with the name, but people will correct me, and I don't mind.
Absolutely. It's better to have the right knowledge instead of, spreading the wrong stuff.
Evening B. ACQ, a couple of brickheads. Back to Transformers after 35 years.
Nice.
Well, so you started 5 years in? Because they've been around for 40. One day I'll probably be dying from coughing. Hopefully it won't be during a live stream. That would suck.
I don't know. You could get a lot of traffic with that.
Some sick people, yeah. I know it's not third party Thursday, but he just happened to be next to me, and he wanted some attention.
Nice. Yeah, I have him on order from Big Bad Toy Store, and he's been on order now for I think two and a half years.
Really?
Yeah.
You might want to cancel the order. I can send you a link. Though I got this at a toy store here in New Jersey called Play With This, which is not as sick as it sounds. Play With This, great toy store, and they're reasonably priced. There's some toy stores I found that are not quite so reasonably priced.
Yeah.
And they basically look on eBay and say, oh, that's what it sold for? Let's add $5.
Not bad at all.
But this one, yeah, was I don't think I got it at a super discount, but I got it at a fair price.
That's important.
He's missing like one piece, and if they find it, they'll just give it to me. So they're nice guys over there. So Play With This.
Yep.
But,
I have a few third-party things. It started with the third party about 5 years ago, so I was kind of a little late into the third-party
that's
genre.
about when I started.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I started after I started the channel. I started to get some of these third-party things, and I said, "This would be good to do a review on."
Yeah.
Because people, I mean, I'm still a little leery about spending a lot of money. The Thunderclash fan toys is like the most I've spent on a third-party toy. Yeah. I usually aim for ones that are $20, $30, maybe a little less. I don't want to spend a lot on something when I'm not sure I can get my money back if it's broken.
Yeah.
AliExpress is usually pretty good, but yeah. I got the small version of the Superion third-party one.
Okay.
And one of the aerial bots was missing his head.
Yeah.
And they sent me half my money back, and I'm like, yeah, it's fine. He's going to be in Superion mode anyway, but yeah. I couldn't really do a full review when he's missing a head.
Yeah.
Evening Boys. So on my screen, there's a little pop-up thing that like cuts off part of the thing. So it's part of the screen. Loading says, does it bother you when they reuse molds? I've been a fan since G1, but just started collecting. I'm trying to decide how I feel about it. LOL. Well, you missed our discussion earlier where we actually generally love repaints as long as there's not 12 of the friggin' things.
and as long as the joints and the connector bits are still
Good. Yeah.
properly calibrated, as case in point with that Megatron, I've been noticing a lot more loose bits going on, and they don't hold poses as well. So maybe one or two uses of the mold, and then kind of chill out.
Yeah, even the comic Grimlock seemed a little bit looser.
Yeah,
I mean, they
not as
fused it 4 times.
yeah, and I think a lot of it has to do with reusing it so much so quickly.
Yeah, and not
Because I
maybe doing
mean,
some maintenance on the mold before reusing it.
yep,
I've actually I don't have them in front of me, but there's some molds that they've done very well with over the years. Like, and one of the least favorite Transformers that came out from Beast Wars initially was Scavenger.
yeah,
But then they made some repaints of him that look so good.
yeah.
But I've never really experienced with a lot of the Beast Wars repaints. They didn't seem to get looser.
Yeah,
Um,
I stuck with the main line with Beast Wars. Made sure like had the main crew and a few of the extra bits, a lot of the smaller ones because that was still within the
the
price
budget.
range for me.
I'm a
And then I
basic.
picked up over the lines. When I got to the Transmetals, I started picking up more of the big ones like Depth Charge and Tiger Hawk and stuff like that. Um, but I didn't get any of the repaints of those because I had the originals, and I was like, you know what? I don't really like Tiger Hawk in the purple and I think it was purple and
Black.
blue that they did.
It was black.
Black.
Yeah, I have them over
I
there.
wasn't too keen on it.
I was keen on it. Damn you! No, it's perfectly understand. I'm not sure where my if I still have my original Tiger Hawk. So between us, we have both colorations.
Absolutely.
And I have the depth charge from Universe. I don't think I have the depth charge, the original one anymore. I think a lot of the original ones in their original colorations sold quickly.
Oh yeah.
And then I was just like, after I did a lot of my selling on eBay.
Hmm.
And then when I was getting to stuff that it's like, I'm not sure if it's worth putting on eBay and paying the commission and going through all this. So
Yeah.
I did a few toy shows. In fact, I dealt at the first couple RetroCons. And when I got to a toy show where I barely covered my costs, and if I hadn't sold a European version of Overlord,
Uh-huh.
I wouldn't have made hardly any money at that show. I'm like, I think it's time to not sell anymore.
Yep.
So, but, and then stuff that I didn't sell ended up coming back into my collection. So, and then again, reacquiring things. So, any more repaint? I pretty much have gone through everything that I wanted to show, but if you have anything else that you want to
Well, I have
highlight.
another new guy from the Legacy molds here. Came from the
Medics?
it says Medics. He was the Walgreens.
Medics, I'm hit. Yeah, Walgreens.
So I'm a big fan of medical vehicles and stuff. So he was definitely one of those have to pickups, and I also like Skids. I think he's the underdog of the Transformers line there, especially from the G1 series.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
had two episodes he was in. It was kind of like cameos almost.
But he was also he had like his own comic where he was like in a western, if I recall that.
Yeah, he got the strangely erotic sponge bath from the cowgirl, and it's like, okay, well this is a thing.
Loading actually says my apologies. Remold of one character's mold for another character. Um, and we kind of talked about this earlier. The robots, Quintessons took over, or and had assembly lines. So you're gonna have the same mold robot, but maybe with a different personality and a different paint job.
Yeah.
And they might have had the same paint job initially, and then to differentiate themselves, they painted themselves different colors, you know. And some of them were really, really high on drugs and became G2 European ones, and, you know.
My only time I've ever had a real problem with it in universe was when they did the Netflix um, series where they basically had the three CAD models, and everybody was like, you know, an Ironhide repaint or a Prowl repaint, and it was just like, okay, I get having the CAD models and you only having access to a few of them, but let's have a little bit more variety here. You shouldn't have like 7 uh, battleizers in 5 different colors in your background.
Though I actually wouldn't have minded getting more repaints of COG, just a few more, you know, like army builder sets. Mm-hmm. And I would have loved if they did more Seekers, more of those Decepticon Seekers in some different colors.
Yep.
Because again, millions of, you know, Transformers and Cybertron, and, you know, I mean, I have the Scrap Face repaint of Refractor.
Yep.
Who will not be spoken of in that name again. Reflector, which was a very cool repaint. I don't mind repaints if they're different characters. In fact, sometimes some of the G2 repaints of G1 characters, unfortunately, some of them actually had the name on them, but it's like...
But they were robots in disguise.
Yes.
But Optimus Prime had it on his trailer.
Yeah. Well, Optimus didn't look that much different. I mean, his trailer did.
Yeah.
But the bot itself, I have 2 versions because there's slightly different variations in the blue coloration.
Mm-hmm.
And I kept all my Optimus Primes.
Yeah.
Those survived the purge. But he didn't look that different, but like Jazz looks a little bit different. You could call him something else. You could call him, I don't know, hip-hop. A different style of music. What's that?
Polka? Spank.
It's Polka Party.
Yep.
It's the Macarena.
The Miser, as he was in Japan.
Meister, yeah.
Meister, yep.
I think it's Meister. Yeah, and like the Sideswipe, the G2 Sideswipe in black, cool coloration.
Yeah.
Could have been a different character, you know.
They actually have it in the IDW comics where it's 2 different characters. He's still named Sideswipe, but he was a protoform that was named Sideswipe after Sideswipe died.
Well, I mean, they could be like Sideswipe Jones, Sideswipe Smith.
Yep.
You know, it does. It's like watching The Walking Dead, just to dive off into a separate subject. Watching The Walking Dead, it's like everyone has different names, pretty much. You know, there might be a Richard and a Rick, which is the same base name, but they're still... Everyone has distinct names, and it's like, you know, you could have more than one John. I know a bunch of Johns. I know a bunch of Michaels. That's normal life, but everyone had to have a distinctive name. And then they went into like less common names like Tobin and Ezekiel. Not as common, you know.
No, definitely not as common.
But yeah, I've always liked to take repaints and have them be a different character, even if they were supposed to be the same character. Like what I was talking about with the Combaticons. The G2 Combaticons were not the same as the G1. They were another team. Onslaught 2, Swindle 2, you know. Or, you know, or you could call them Thief and, you know, Attacker and, you know, just make up different names.
Yeah.
I can't make up all the good names like with these.
And like with Beast Wars, I kind of look at how they did it with Beast Wars, where, you know, you had the original Transformers, and, you know, they were in the past, they were their ancestors, and it's kind of like, you know, naming your kid after your favorite author, or naming your kid after, you know, this, so they would be like, oh well, you're going to be you're going to be Silverbolt, because I remember when my great grandbot told me about this Silverbolt and his great aerobots.
My great aunt I see. Oh boy, we're gonna die. Yeah. And one of these days, I'm gonna do just like the name game, because there's like, how many sandstorms are there that aren't the same sandstorm?
Yep.
And how many Silverbolts?
Yep.
There in Beast Wars, I used him twice.
Yes. Yes.
He could fly like an eagle.
My favorite thing is that they used to be so, like, you used to be able to, like, okay, well, this is Beast Wars Inferno, and this is G1 Inferno, and they were completely different bots, but you're like, oh, look, they're look how cool they are, they're so different. And they've gotten away with that now with this aligned continuity where it's like, okay, well, Inferno now is a fire truck, and you will see him as a fire truck here, 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 and here. You'll never find, that variety of characters like Ironhide. There were so many different Ironhides, from Minicons to Micromasters and
To an elephant.
elephants and an off-road dune buggy from Energon.
A little like SUV type thing. I don't know if you ever saw the European G2 Power Masters.
I've seen some of them.
They are some of the worst Transformers. They look bad, but I had all of them. I had Bullet Bike, I had Ironhide.
Yep.
I can't remember the other names, but I think there were two more. But yeah, same name, different bot. And I guess
we've gotten away from that now. They have the evergreen names where it's like, Soundwave is going to be, blue. He's going to look like this in robot mode, and if you're lucky, he's going to be a cassette. If not, his evergreen design is a like a SUV.
Yep. With like claws on the bottom.
Yep.
Yep. But he's been a jet. He's been. Well, I have a lot of different versions of Soundwave too. But and Blaster and all that.
Oh yeah.
But I do. They did in Legacy though come out with an Inferno, the fire truck, and Inferno the ant. So because it's a multiverse, you can have two people with the same names.
Yep. And I think because those two bots in particular are so, they've established themselves as Inferno. Mm-hmm. You have a certain generation. It's like, oh, Inferno? Okay, yeah, he's a fire truck. And then you have the next generation where it's like, oh, Inferno? Yeah, he's a fire ant.
Mm-hmm. I do like the fact that they took, they've taken some of those molds and made what were previously BotCon exclusives only more widely available. Antagony. I wish they would do a Fractal. I wish they would do a Pack Rat. That would be cool.
Because, especially if they go back and, reintroduce the stories that they're part of. Because Fractal was a very interesting Transformer, with his geo abilities and stuff like that. And
yeah, it's also interesting that in G1, and I asked Bob Budiansky and he denied it, but a lot of the original Transformers that he wrote all the powers and abilities of, as well as the personalities, it was like they had superpowers.
Yeah.
This one could create illusions. This one could turn invisible. This one had magnetic powers.
Yep.
But he said, no, he didn't deliberately do that coming from a comic background.
Right.
But they kind of got away from that. Yeah. What I found interesting in the Transformers comic was that Blaster had an electro scrambler rifle, not just the generic blast that you see in the cartoon.
Yep.
Occasionally in the cartoon they'd use like the black beam gun from Trex.
Yep. Or the glass gas from Cliff Jumper.
Yep. Or liquid nitrogen.
Yep.
I'm gonna freeze you. Hey, my hand won't retract. I need some Cybertronium. But yeah, it's pretty. That actually was pretty interesting to me, getting these comics and seeing them actually having the powers and the weapons that were described in their tech specs instead of just generic blasters.
Yep.
But though they did give, I think Bumblebee got a gun in the comic at some point. Even though his toy didn't have one for many years. I think the first Bumblebee that had a gun was the Pretender.
Yeah. And he had those killer tires.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm very curious about the missing link ones.
Yeah.
That's going to be fun. But someone asked, with the shattered glass, they're basically a bunch of repaints.
Yeah.
I mean, but I think that totally makes sense. They should look like the original, characters.
Yeah. I think my favorite one of that was when they did Hot Rod. And they made him Rodimus, and he had the goatee.
Yep. See, I had the original Shattered Glass set because I was at that BotCon and I got it. That went in the purge. It went for a lot of money.
Oh, yeah.
But now it's going for even more, and it's like... If I could turn back time...
Well, oh, yeah.
What I might do, instead of selling my collection, is I would have started a YouTube channel back then, and I'd have a silver play, maybe even a gold play button by now, and be like showing all my Transformers off, and that would support my habit and my lifestyle and all that.
Yeah. Well, what you could do too, if you could go back in time, is get two of everything, keep the one, and then sell the other, and then have the YouTube gold play and money.
Though I would probably... All right, here's what I want to get. I want to get a Star Trek replicator and a tricorder. Go back and scan all the toys. Go to Japan in the past, scan all the toys. And then go ahead and input the data into the replicator and then just pump them out. I wouldn't call them originals. I would call them like the counterfeit reissues, but you could get like a Guard City. You could get a Battle Gaia. You could get, in the box counterfeit, an original Stepper and Artfire and what were they called? Hydra and Buster, or the Japanese versions of the Power Master jets.
Oh yes, yeah.
Those were
Hydra and Buster.
Yeah. I had those both in the box. I got one of them, and the box was so pristine, because I normally open my toy. I was like, I can't open this. This box is so perfect. And I think I got it for $75 and sold it for $350. So.
Oh wow. So yeah,
But it was so beautiful. And I'm like, I already have the mold over here. I don't have to, But it was just beautiful. The other one I got in box, it was still sealed, but the box wasn't as nice, but I still left it in there. And I think I got about the same for that too. So
not bad.
But anyways, it has been an hour and 45 minutes. I am shocked that we went this long. I mean, not really shocked, because I kind of knew it was going to happen, but but yeah, this has been a very long but fun live stream. I hope we can do it again.
Absolutely.
Maybe on a Thursday. We'll have a third-party Thursday, and we'll break out some of our favorite third-party stuff.
Sounds great to me.
And yeah, so everybody, I'm going to put in the description that guy Magnus's YouTube channel. You can also find him on Facebook. He does some great photography and basically showcases a lot of the new toys. And yeah, we are all one here till all are one. So anything else? Any other socials you want to promote?
Well, I'm on Instagram. I'm on TikTok. The only thing I'm not on is Twitter. So
You mean X?
no, nope, it's still Twitter.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's that guy Magnus. It pretty much that guy Magnus everywhere.
And you have some cool cosplay photos too.
Oh yeah,
What
yeah.
is the character from G.I. Joe that you
I Well, I do a few. Rock and roll is one of my big ones. I do Topside. I do Metalhead. I do the Alley Viper, Cobra Alley Viper. There's one I'm debuting at RetroCon this year, which I have yet to see anyone else do. So
so come to
we'll leave it at
RetroCon.
that. What's that?
So people need to come to RetroCon to see
Come
it.
to RetroCon. I'll be there with the Finest, which is a GI Joe cosplaying group, and so you will get to see a new there. I also do Chuckles from GI Joe. Um, so yeah, I do a lot of different other. I also cosplay Marvel characters like Red Guardian, Captain America. Uh, just a lot of things. Do a lot of charity work, working with the Philadelphia Avengers, and so yeah, just all around, just everything geeky. I'm kind of into,
And as we mentioned before, you cosplay Ultra Magnus.
and Ultra Magnus. Yep,
And I have a Trax costume. I think you saw it once.
yep.
It is too frigging hot to wear. I need to like totally revamp it or just reconstruct it out of different materials. Because yeah, it is so hot.
Oh yeah.
I wore it for like 20 minutes at the TFCon, and it's like that's enough. And it's also awkward and it's hard to see. And
Yep.
you,
I
you
know
definitely
with Ultra Magnus, I have the stilts and everything, and or the high top shoes, and it's very difficult to maneuver in and see in. So
you always need a handler.
yep.
And that's why I did Trax, who's a bit smaller than Ultra Magnus and Optimus.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't have to wear those things. But I can still look stunning in
Absolutely.
my bot mode. All right. Well, Magnus, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having me.
You can hang out after I end the stream, and we'll debrief, and you can tell me that I had spinach in my teeth this whole time. But thanks everyone who popped in to watch. I hope you enjoyed our discussion. Who would win Shattered Glass Cup versus G1 Cup? Who do you think would win?
Well, I imagine Shattered Glass Cup is a little bit more ruthless. So if you're going with the premise that they're both old soldiers and they know what they're doing, probably Shattered Glass, unfortunately.
True, but as the great Dr. Travis Langley says, why do evil versions of our heroic characters generally lose? Because good has friends. So,
Yep.
so if it was a one-on-one fight, that and one of the other Shattered Glass Autobots saw Shattered Glass Cup in trouble, they'd be like, eh.
Yep.
Whereas if one of the Autobots saw G1 Cup in trouble, they'd be like, I need to help him.
Absolutely.
I've got to help Cup. Stay out of it, lad. This is my fight.
I don't know. If we got Hot Rod in there, it might not turn out the way we want it to go.
Yeah. I fear the wounds are fatal. But everyone, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And yeah, we'll do another live stream. Not quite sure when. I have cons coming up. If you're not this weekend, but the following weekend, I will be at Dragon Con. So if you're there, keep an eye out. And the week after that, I will be at RetroCon,
Yep.
where you can see Magnus debut his new G.I. Joe costume and buy lots of Transformers.
Yep.
And yeah, and you can hear me do raffles. It's time for the 5 o'clock raffle. Please take out your blue ticket. Yeah, it's a great show. Definitely recommend it. And
Absolutely. A total blast.
yeah, and they have the Cybertronic Spree there. I'm not sure if tickets are still available. They might be close to being sold out, if not sold
It
out.
might be. They sell it every year.
Yep. Well, last year they had friggin' Stan Bush playing
Yes.
with them. I mean,
Yep.
come on, what more could you want? But yeah, and so I hope you guys will tune in next time and keep an eye out because more reviews are on the way. And yeah,
All right. Thanks, everybody.
thanks everybody, and as always, have fun and good hunting. Ciao.